Project 571, genetically engineered vampire created to destroy evil.
What do you want?
We need your help to kill a vampire.
Malleus Maleficario. It was written by a witch. The first witch. Titania.
That was a little snippet from The Witch's Hammer, the first film I ever solo directed, and it's just been remastered and re-released on Amazon. So if you like witches and vampires, then please do check it out. Anyway, let's get on with this week's episode. Hi, Jim here, and you're listening to the Honest Filmmaker podcast. This week I'm chatting to Gugu E. Michaels. Hi Gugu, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, brother?
Very good, very good. So just so people can sort of get this in their head, so whereabouts are you talking to me from? What part of the world are you in?
Oh, I'm in the United States.
United States, whereabouts?
Yes, the state of Texas.
Texas, right, okay. So I'm interested to know about that as a filmmaking area. But first, tell me a little bit about how you got into filmmaking.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. I started from, well, I used to rap, believe it or not. In the 80s, early 90s, I used to rap. I used to have a record company called Redrumm Recordz. And from there, I started directing music videos. You know, my own video, my artist music video. And just one day in 1995, because I saw that there wasn't any independent films in Dallas, Texas, you know, where I am. There wasn't any independent films. So I was like, what if I shoot a movie? You know, so that's how I was able to shoot my first film. No script, no, just storyline. You know, we just had the storyline and we shot it. It took me 2 years to make that movie. You know, after we did that, you know, I sold it to York Entertainment, Maverick York Entertainment. And from then on, the rest is history.
Right, okay. So rapping, music videos, then on to feature film productions, bit of a jump. And yeah. Did any of the rap stuff, what did the rap stuff help you with, do you think, with the moving into filmmaking?
Well, the only one I think it helped me is the fact that, like I said, because my first music video, I had a different director and a different cinematographer that was shooting it. And what I guess, in a sense, what it did is it opened my curiosity because I was watching the director and the cinematographer. They'd come to the artist, they'd do this, you know, with the light, you know, and I was like, what are you doing? They would explain it to me. Then they said, okay, action, we perform. They'll say close up, you know, whatever. They change lens. And I asked the director, okay, now what are you doing? Oh, we're just changing the lens because the first one was wide. Now we have to do mid. Okay, cool. Then boom, boom. They change the lights. Okay, what now you? So I guess my curiosity, I was intrigued by everything they were doing. And the more question I asked, the more the director and the cinematographer, the more they explained, the more I was like, damn, okay, I want to look into this. That's really where, you know, so I guess if rap played any part, is opening the door for me to, you know, get curious about, you know, cameras. It all started with cameras.
We'll start with the cameras. Okay, and then if I jump ahead now to where you are today, it looks, tell me if I'm wrong in this, but it looks like you primarily specialise in thrillers. Would you say that's right?
No, I do pretty much all.
We do all, okay.
Yeah, action. I started with action. Majority of my movies are action films.
Action films,
And
okay.
then I've done a couple of horror, and then the last one, the one you're speaking of right now, is thriller.
Thrillers.
So I kind of like that one now. Comedy, I don't know about comedy. You know,
It's too hard comedy, isn't it? It's too
I
hard.
don't know about comedy. So,
so then, all right. So you're talking horror, thriller. What was the other one you mentioned? Action. So why those particular genres?
Well, for action, you know, I used to study martial arts. I'm a little out of shape and older than that, but and I used before. Are you familiar with MMA, like
Yep.
UFC?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Well, when in the 80s, early 90s, before it was popular, I used to do that. Okay, so from there, you know, I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, when he came out, he was like he was my superhero. I loved Van Damme. So from there, and of course, I was a huge fan of Bruce Lee. So from there, I kind of went into that. I wanted to do the kind of movies Van Damme was doing. That's kind of how I got into action. Then the horror, when I got into horror, because horror is cheaper to make. Action takes a lot more money. You have to get stunt fighters, people that know how to take a punch and how to fall. That's some of them are a bit expensive. But horror, you can shoot a horror in one location.
Mm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah, you can shoot it in one location. So, and then now with thriller, it's more of because I've noticed majority of my movies is male driven. Okay, and my last movie that was action Private Target had a female lead, and I noticed a lot of women watched that movie.
Mm.
So it was a lot of male and it was a lot of females. I'm like, oh wow, okay, so that's a trick. I have to do something that's not just too manly, you know what I mean? So let's balance it out. So that's when I started looking at thrillers, because the women love thriller movies, especially a woman that's, overcoming a lot of,
Yeah.
saying. So that's why I was like, okay, I see. So now I try to balance the two, a strong male lead and a strong female lead, and because it brings out both audiences. So
Audiences. Yeah. So that's interesting. So would you say the projects you make now, you're putting the audience at the very beginning of that process? So you're saying, right, what am I making for them? You're not going off and going, right, I've got to shoot this thing because I really want to tell this story. You're going, right, okay, what do my audience want me to make?
right, basically, because I have a production company and keyword company, so I have to make money. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And so, to me, what movie can I use as an example? Black Panther. Everybody know how big Black Panther is, and why is it so big? It's not because it's a movie talking about black, black people. So it's a movie that anybody you can watch it all over the world. People in Australia, Canada, everybody can watch it and relate. Because it's more like a family. Like a father passing the torch to his son doesn't know, am I worthy? Am I going to do good? That kind of journey. So it's something everybody, especially if you're a father or if you're a son, you can relate to it because your relationship with your father. And as a father, you can relate to that with your relationship with your son. So I believe to make movies that anybody, what besides children, but pretty much anybody can watch. I try to talk about something like, for instance, Disturbing Intention, the one I just released.
Mm.
The movie's about this lawyer. Her husband gets kidnapped, and the caller is is forcing her to do some very, very, very dark and disturbing things in order to save the husband.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now everybody can relate to that because if you're married, if your brother's married, and you know what I mean, what are you willing to do? If somebody right now kidnapped your wife and told you, "Hey man, I need you to do this, or I'm gonna kill your wife," what would
Mm-hmm.
you do? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what that movie's about. So I try to make movies now so everybody can relate to, like, damn, okay, that can happen to me. I can see it happen to my cousin. I can see it happen to my sister. That kind of situation.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that, actually, because some filmmakers design their movies with an audience in mind to maximize profit, but they're kind of thinking maybe more about that audience likes this particular type of movie. Whereas I guess what you're saying is you're going for universal appeal with your storylines, so anyone could connect with it and watch it. And as a black filmmaker, like I've seen a couple of trailers of some of the stuff you've done. What's the percentage of cast that are black in your films?
Well, this last one right now, I would say is 70% black, then Hispanic, then white. And then prior to this one, Private Target, Private Target is a blend of everybody, blacks, white, Hispanics. As a matter of fact, the villain on Private Target is a Hispanic man. You know, he's Latin. You know what I mean? And then, of course, I'm Nigerian. You know, and I played the lead. I played the lead on that one. And then my brother also is in the movie. He also played one of the villains. So we touched Africa, we touched Nigeria, we touched the Latin community, we touched white. You know, so it's everybody.
Everybody.
You know, with that one.
Sure. And the other thing, just talking about you as a black filmmaker, because I've chatted to other black filmmakers, they often, from distributors mainly, feel pressure to make films about gangs or something that's particularly stereotypical. Do you ever feel that pressure, or are you just doing your own thing and not really paying attention to it?
I'm not going to mention any names. Private Target.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I took it to a couple of networks. They loved it. You know, I'm not going to say no network's name, but they loved it. But pretty much what you just said is what they alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not so. That's not so. That's not so many of this or so many of this or so many of this. And you know, my rebuttal to that is, you know, all black people, we're not criminals. We're not drug dealers. We're not killers. We're not. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't partake or participate in that kind of stereotype. You know, where every movie is. I can understand one movie, like my movie Thugs, my first movie. I'm not gonna lie, it was that exactly that. But that was in 1995. This is 2025. You know what I'm saying? That was like how many years ago? 20 years ago. So like I said, I try to make a movie that anybody can relate to. It just so happens that the director or the writer or the producer or the actor are black. You know what I'm saying? You feel pain just like I feel pain. No difference. No difference. But why are you, you know, and I say this to my fellow black filmmaker. I know a lot of times some of us, we want to we want to get in the business, you know, so we jump right into it, you know, because from my understanding, they have no problem funding those kind of movies. You know, those black violent movies, they were funded. But now, if you come and tell them, like Private Target, say, I don't know. I don't know about that. You know, have you thought about maybe he's a rapper or maybe he's a basketball player and blah, blah, you know, so yeah. So I try to stay, and that's why I do everything I do right now. I fund my own films. I have my own streaming platform. I self-distribute because I've been doing this for like I said, since 1995. That's a very, very long time. You know, very, very long time. I've learned, I've come across everybody. So I just decided, you know what? Let me just fall back. And right now, I write what I want to write, I produce what I want to produce, and I distribute what I want to distribute.
Yeah. That makes sense. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because those you know, some of those stereotypes often make their way into kind of mainstream cinema, and you hear this story that's kind of told to us about, you know, films with mainly a black cast, it being difficult to get them funded, all this kind of stuff. But then you've got platforms like Tubi where those sorts of films are absolutely killing, and they're not drug films. They're all sorts of movies. It's got a massive audience. I think those companies are starting to come around to that and realise that there's actually money to be made, which is the primary motivator for everything. But yeah, it's interesting you come across that yourself so recently. So you said you finance your own films. Have you got a particular budget level you try to stick to?
Yeah, because I want to make my money back. So I try to well, let me not take the credit away from people that have invested in my projects. You know, like my brother, he invested in my projects. one of my partners, DK the Groover. He's also my last film, Private Target. He's in that one as well. He gave me some money for that, and also the Hispanic gentleman I told you that was the villain. He also gave me money for Private Target. So I don't want to exclude them. But basically, what I'm saying is like I don't go outside for source. It's me and my inner circle. Majority of the time, it's majority of my fun. But my brother comes in, like I say, other people come in. So, and that gives me freedom to do movies like for 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand. Now, Private Target, like I said, that was an international action movie. So that one is way higher, is like in the hundreds. Prior, besides that, like Marine Spirit, which I'm going to be releasing, that's a horror. I'm going to be releasing this 2026, which is the next couple of months. I funded that myself. And the one after that, The Hunting of Anaya, I also funded that myself. Because I own all my cameras, I own all my equipment, I own everything. On my own post-production studio. So I only pay for the talent, location, and food. Okay, so I try to keep it, 20, 25, 30. Once it start hitting 30, 35.
Yeah. And those shoots, how long are you shooting for on that sort of budget? What sort of time frame?
I try to knock everything out. Marine Spirit took us 11 days to shoot. Anaya took us 7. We shot that in a week. Again, in one location. Because Anaya is one location. That's what I said about horror. You can shoot everything in one location.
I also noticed, so you said you got your own equipment. So what's your Black Magic? Is that what you use?
Yeah, I own all of them. From the big Ursa to the Mini 4.6 to the G2 to the 6K, now to the Pixies. So I just love the look of Black. I love that look.
You love the look, and is it so that's what started you off on Black Magic and what's kept you on it. So the looks sounds like it's the look that keeps you.
Yeah, the look because when I used to work for agency shooting commercials, shooting music videos, and I used to use a lot of the agencies. Majority of the camera we used was Alexa. We used Alexa. Whether it's Amiri, whatever. And this was way before the Mini, the Alexa Mini came out. It was the big one, the big boys. And then some FX3. I shot on FX3. I shot on the Sony. I don't know if you're familiar with F55. Those Sony F55 cameras. Yeah. So I've shot in a lot of cameras. And then when the DSLR hit, I shot a movie Jacob's Eye. I shot that with the Canon 60D. So I've shot pretty much on a lot of cameras. Once I got the Ursa, I just fell in love, man. It hurts my feelings. They didn't continue with the big Ursa. Then they went into the Mini, and the rest is history. But yeah, I love that because the big gigantic monitor, it was
So one for you.
So
yeah. And so then you talked about so distributing yourself. So how are you doing that? Are you doing that via Film Hub or what? How are you getting your films out there?
Yeah, I have my own streaming platform. Cinema Room.
Yeah.
Let's look at the mic. Yeah, I have my own cinema room where I sell like all my movies is on my own platform. So I won't have any problem, get my movie out there. So that's number one. And then of course Film Hub. Shout out to Film Hub. They treat me well. So they communicate every time I reach out to them. Anytime I have a problem, they always communicate with me and let me know, okay, this is what's going on. They take their time, but they will communicate.
Yeah. How many films have you got on Film Hub?
Wow. I think 5.
5 films. Right.
Yeah. Repentance, Dangerous Man. Yeah, I think 5.
5.
And the one that just dropped right now, Disturbing Intention.
Yeah. And the thing that and I'm sort of still learning this because Film Hub's a new thing to me because I've always used to go down the traditional distribution
Right.
sales agent route and just get fleeced of all the money. Usually that's my usual one, but
Of
now
course,
we're on Film Hub. So what do you do? What tips have you got for filmmakers to promote your movies and get people to watch them?
Right. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like what I would tell filmmakers is once you're making your money, once you're trying to raise a fund, depending on how much the individuals try to raise, if it's 20, if it's 30, if it's 50, if it's 60, even if it's 100, try to raise that maybe additional 20 to 30 on top of that. So, meaning if you're trying to raise 30, trying to have additional 20, making it 50, that way you have small money to do some marketing. So what I would tell for me, what helped me out a lot is, I use some YouTube influencers
Mm-hmm.
to get them to do like a sponsorship. You find a YouTube that you can relate to, or you
Mm-hmm.
feel your movie can relate to that channel. Reach out to them and say, hey, I want to sponsor maybe 3 or 4 episodes. What would it run me? But then
Mm-hmm.
you take care of that. Then go Facebook. That's this another tip a lot of people don't understand. Facebook have groups. A lot of those groups are very, very big. I tell you, they're powerful. They are powerful because some of those groups, that's some film hub groups. There's Amazon Prime groups. There's Tubi groups. There's that all those streaming platforms. They have their own groups. And what I would tell any filmmaker, join as many as you can. Network, communicate with other people, comment on other people. Just don't just go, just post yourself, promote yourself. No, 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 no. Be a part of that community. Talk about other people, film, then post yours, you know, watch their movie, give your opinion on that movie, but be nice, give your opinion on that movie. Hey, I just watched your movie. It's nice. I love this, blah, 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 blah. And then, in return, everybody's going to be, oh, okay, what's the name of your movie? Oh, yeah, my movie is this, So it's a community, and I'm, and this movie I just that just came out, you know, show that to me. I just learned this, it's a community. And then from there, do ads, you may only get a little money, but do some ads like do Instagram ads, do YouTube ads, do Facebook ads. And then my movie is a black film, so I can do like not a lot, but do some small ads on BET, okay, for television. You know what I mean? Trying to try to spread your money all on all avenue, and then I promise you're gonna see some results.
Yeah,
You're gonna see some results.
Good advice. And those groups, it's funny because they're there for a reason, and the reason mainly is there's loads of people who've got that platform and they want something to watch, so they're kind of open to your stuff. So they're there for you to promote, but like you said, I guess the golden rule is don't go in there and just go, look at my film, it's me, me. You've got to engage, otherwise they'll sniff you out. They'll know, won't they?
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do
It's a
that.
community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got going into it like, because I've just from that alone, I've met a couple of other filmmakers. From there, So yeah, yeah, it's a community because everybody helps everybody, and and it grows. So yeah.
Yeah. So then I was going to ask you, if you're making a film, what's better for you, money or time? What's more valuable?
I would say time. Because time is more valuable because excuse me, because I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s, and I'm not getting any younger. So for me to take up any project and spend 2 weeks filming it, then spend 4 months, 5 months doing post production, it have to be a movie because the money comes and goes. You know, that's money. You know, I mean, we need money to eat our food. We need money to pay rent, light. So of course, that's very very important. But as far as like uh, being a creator, because that's you and I, we're creators. You know, your time. If I tell you right now, hey Jim, come to Dallas, you know, for this film, for you to leave UK, fly to US, you know what I mean? Stay for 7 days. That's your time. You one have to like that script. You have to make sure that, you know, or Google man, I don't know, maybe change, you know what I mean? For you to come, you have to like the script. That means, okay, you know what? I like the script. Let me talk to Google. You know, we have full conversation for a few days. You feel me out. We talk about the character. I feel you out. You know, okay, I like Google. You know what? I'm gonna go. You see, you just give me your time. Even though I'm paying you, but you just gave me something more valuable, which is your time. You know, because without your time, you may be like, I'm booked. I have another project. I don't have the time. You see what I'm saying? You know, but no matter what I offer you, I already signed a contract. I've committed. You know, maybe next year. You know, so for
Yeah.
me, it's time.
It's time. Well, you book the flights. I'm coming. Sold. You've sold me on that one. I'm not sure what I can do. Can't act, but you know, I'll be there. Don't worry. Um, so, so looking back on your career so far, what do you wish you knew when you first started?
Ooh, that's a very, very man. Wow, that's a very good question. Well, I wish I would have knew about self-distribution. That's where, you know, because back then, you know, in the 90s, I don't know how long have you been filming?
Probably, I think my first film we shot it in '98. So yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
we just 3 years apart. So you know, in the 90s, how it was traditional distribution. You spend all that money making a movie, and then you take it to a distributor. And then, like you said, they junk you around, you know, mess you around, you know. And but when they send you your quarterly report, it's showing you your movie made this $50,000 here, $80,000 here, $60,000 there, but expense, boo 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 boo, paid to producer, zero
Yeah.
or $200.
Yeah.
Huh? You just showed me the movie made $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's painful when you see those reports. I'll never forget the second film we made. We went with a distributor, and again, I won't mention any names, but the guy was a sales agent, was a filmmaker, and he'd made a film that I absolutely love. So he was a filmmaker who'd made a film, and I'll tell you later who it is, but I won't say it publicly. But he made a film I love. So we thought we can trust him. He's one of us. You know, he won't screw us over. He's made this amazing film. But yeah, they did completely fleece us. And the film back then, obviously, films were worth a bit more.
Yeah,
So
way
yeah, it was tons of on that report. You know, bing, 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 USA, Australia, Germany, yeah, all of this, and yeah, the zeros at the bottom. Never saw a penny out of them. And probably obviously upset about the money, but also upset that someone you thought who was a proper filmmaker just screwed us over.
Interesting. Yeah.
Sad times.
Yeah. I mean, you know, could you imagine if we know what we know now? And that was at less, you know, because it's not, you know, if you think about it, it's not like we couldn't do it, you know, because my movie, Thugs Part 2, you know, we did theatrical, you know, so, and I realized I could have went to Angelica myself. You know, I don't know if they have Angelica in UK, but that's a small independent
Right.
theater chain. That's Landmark. That's Angelica. That's like about 4 or 5 of them. That if you go to them directly, you would have That's all of them combined. That's about 80 to 100 theaters independently. So these are the things I'm thinking now. Like, damn, I could have went to this guys myself. You know. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. But so yeah, that's one thing I wish I would. Man, it would have been nice if we, you know, we could self distribute. There was a lot of independent. Xeon. I don't know if they had Xeon in UK. That was Maverick. That was Xeon. That was York Entertainment. There was a lot of independent movie companies that you can go to direct, you know. But back then, you know, I was caught under the, Hollywood illusion. Make a movie, get a distribution. Oh yeah, I'm distributing my movie through so and so. So
Yeah, yeah, it's madness, isn't it? And that film I was talking about, I remember it came out on DVD, and it was released by Warner Brothers. And just the sheer thing of seeing my film start with the Warner Brothers logo, I was like, "Oh my
see,
god, this is amazing!" But yeah, didn't
see,
see a penny. So
see,
it's, yeah,
yeah.
not good, not
So
good.
I mean, right now, though. I mean, again, shout out to Film Hub, man. I mean, companies like them, indie rights, I mean, I salute them because they've made it easy to where right now I don't, I can literally say I'm a full-time filmmaker. I don't have a job. I pay my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? I live off my movies, So, man, I can't thank them enough. To be honest, I cannot thank them enough. So, yeah, that's the one thing I wish I would have known is distribution, how to self-distribute.